There's a little bit of an update to this. Like Egypt had, we'll get into it in a second, but Egypt had essentially said, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. We are not going to participate in the genocide and erasure of the Palestinian people. Trump suggests his plan for Gaza Strip is to clean out the whole thing. You know who else did that? With a different group of people? But you know who else did that? The Nazis in Germany. Hello. Hello, hello. If you are wondering why I am looking absolutely beautiful today, the reason is tattoos. As you can see, I have started working on color work. A couple photos from right after the fact. Thankfully, I'm nowhere near as raw as I was before, but this whole area is just such a fucking nightmare to work with. It really is. But I thought that putting some color in would be a good way to go about that. Now, the consequence of that is my face is swollen. And I'm definitely going to have a sinus reaction from that, but it hasn't happened yet, thankfully. Before I go anywhere with this, I have had issues with my microphone for a while now, which I notice whenever I edit my videos for YouTube, is that it clicks. There are couple different things I could try, but what I have done now is I have switched off from NVIDIA Broadcast. I'm no longer using NVIDIA Broadcast as my noise gates. I'm using OBS's noise gates. And hopefully that transfers well, and the random pops and clicks don't happen. We'll find out.
Different countries, and you experience a different culture, and it is unique and special and good. Unfortunately, when you told Alice, I can only...
Yeah, nationalism. He's talking about nationalism. Of course, that nationalism would you know, I mean, they are who they are. Like, it would move beyond just that country, whatever country it is that he wants to nationalize and have only as, like, you know, America would be only Europeans, you know, it'd be only, like, people with British lineage, European lineage. And if he was referencing Germany, it'd be only Germans. You got to get rid of all the people that aren't those people. It's a more broad way of saying the neo-Nazi talking point of being against race mixing, and nationalism like that. Nationalism in general is a really bad thing. Which is the reason that this is a good segue. Which is the reason that Zionism is bad. Get out of that. Which is the reason that Zionism is bad. Because Zionism is nationalism. It is religious nationalism. It is the same thing as if, like, America were to... you remember, like, the whole, like, witch burning thing? It's kind of like that, but on a more broad scale. Nationalism is always a bad thing. Zionism is a political movement that combines Jewish nationalism with religious beliefs. Some Nazis, such as Hans Kurz, who served as Hitler's Minister for Church Affairs, advocated positive Christianity, a uniquely Nazi form of Christianity that rejected Christianity's Jewish origins, and the Old Testament portrayed true Christianity as a fight against Jews, with Jesus depicted as an Aryan. Sophie Scholl was beheaded by guillotine in Munich, Germany at the age of 21. Her crime, speaking out against Aryan white supremacy of the Nazi regime, which doesn't sound too far off from... Israeli forces killed 22 people in South Lebanon as residents tried to return. And let's see if it specifies, but a handful of these people were, in fact, protesters. Israeli forces killed 22 people and injured more than 124 others in southern Lebanon on Sunday. This is article right here is 17 hours ago. On Sunday, after protesters demanded their, I guess we'll look at it. Why is that? Oh wait, is this, no, fuck you. The CBS? Yeah, fuck you, CBS. Fucking force white screen. I hate that. What is that? I will not read any fucking CBS articles because of that unless I have to, but you get the rundown of that. Very similar to this incident when you take into account that Zionism is literally religious nationalism. So in 1943, Sophie was a member of the White Rose, a clandestine group of university students who were distributing leaflets at university throughout Germany, urging resistance to the Third Reich. A janitor saw Sophie dropping leaflets off a balcony railing into central hallway at the University of Munich, and he turned her into the Gestapo. He was arrested, beaten, and murdered 4 days later. After the execution, a pro-Nazi rally was held at the university, and the janitor was given a standing ovation. Such a fine sunny day, and I have to go, Sophie said, before she was guillotined. But what does my death matter if through the actions of people, if through the thousands of people who are awakened and stir to action? But what does my death matter if through us thousands of people are awakened and stirred to action? It's really fucked up, because when stuff like this happens, even to the extent of self-immolation, in these people's hearts, there's genuinely like a real world fire of, well, this will set things in motion for the undoing of this oppression. But it doesn't happen like that. And it sucks, because it's tragic. It's like the most tragic thing that could possibly happen. Really irritating that we don't just talk about things like how they are. Like, there's this idea that like a Nazi can only be, and specifically and only, anti-Jew. Well, first of all, I mean, obviously, like, Israel and Judaism is a thing, but it's also not. As like, Zionism and Judaism are two completely separate things. Like, there's a difference between like a Christian and Hitler, just like there's a difference between a Jew and Netanyahu. Okay, like what are we really fucking dumb?
That is correct.
Israel is really like looking for reasons to not continue with the ceasefire. Of course, I mean, that's not surprising. Like, fucking Netanyahu and the IDF love doing genocide. It is their favorite fucking thing. It feels so good for them. There's a little bit of an update to this. Like, Egypt had, we'll get into it in a second, but Egypt had essentially said, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. We are not going to participate in the genocide and erasure of the Palestinian people. But Trump, you know, being who Trump is, wanted to move. Trump suggests his plan for Gaza Strip is to clean out the whole thing. You know who else did that? With a different group of people? But you know who else did that? The Nazis in Germany. President Donald Trump indicated Saturday that he had spoken with the King of Jordan about potentially building housing and moving more than 1 million Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring countries, a remarkable proposal from a sitting U.S. president. I said to him, they'd love to take on. I said to him that I'd love you to take on more. I can't do a Trump impression. I'm trying so hard. I will eventually get there, but I'm not there yet. I said to him that I love you. I'd love you. I said to him that, this is a Trump quote, I believe. Yes, it is. I said to him that I'd love you to take on more, but because I'm looking at the whole Gaza Strip right now and it's a mess, it's a real mess. Basically what's going on here is Trump is suggesting to move Palestinian people out of Palestine, and he says it could be, here's right here, could be temporary, it could be long term. Of course it's going to be long term, it's going to be forever term, because, and the reality of the matter is that there's a very low chance, a significantly low chance that Palestinians will not be able to go back to Gaza. I do believe, and I think it's pretty obvious, that taking Gaza permanently was always the plan. And I know that the thing's being framed in a way where it's like, we're doing a favor to the Palestinian people by moving them to another country and erasing them from their homeland and turning their homeland into Israel, because that's what will happen. but it's being the way that Trump is saying it is in a ingestible way for people who are pro-Palestinian. But the reality of it is that Trump is suggesting to white Palestinians' homeland and remove the Palestinian people from a place that gives them a home. And essentially, what happens because of that, a byproduct of that, is erasure of a people. Native Americans are a good example of this, even though Native Americans still have some land here in the U.S. that we have afforded to them. Even despite that, and that's a whole subject in of itself. That is not a situation to celebrate. They are themselves in an open air prison, but even then, they are still more or less by, probably the majority of Americans. You could ask around yourself and find out. Regarded as like an extinct people, even though they're not. So what happens when you move a people out of their homeland, out of their country, and then turn their country into another country, and then have no place for those people other than being sporadically throughout other countries, is that their entire culture is in history is permanently erased, because Nazis do that kind of stuff. I know it's controversial for some reason to compare Netanyahu and Trump to Hitler, but it is what it is, all right? Fascism is fascism, and I don't think it's doing anybody any favors to pretend that fascism isn't fascism because it's fashionable. But it's not fashionable because the majority of the world understands that this is the stuff that is happening. These are bad things. It's just that Americans are inherently stupid. El-Sisi, the president of Egypt, criticized Israel's move to evacuate more than 1 million residents from northern Gaza in October 2023, characterizing it as a part of a larger plan to rid the entire area of Palestinians. The displacement or expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza Strip to Egypt simply means that a similar situation will also take place, namely the expulsion of Palestinians from the West Bank to Jordan. Sisi said, adding that there would be no point in discussing a Palestinian state, as the land will be there, but the people won't. Around the same time, King Abdullah called the idea of more Palestinian refugees moving to Jordan or Egypt a red line. Egypt on Sunday rejected the forced displacement of Palestinians after U.S. President Donald Trump suggested a plan to clean out the Gaza Strip and move its population to Egypt and Jordan. Ontario's foreign ministry in a statement expressed Egypt's continued support for the steadfastness of the Palestinian people on their land. It rejected any infringement on those inalienable rights, whether by settlement or annexation of land, or by depopulation of that land and its people through displacement, encouraged transfer for uprooting of Palestinians from their land, whether temporary or long-term. After 15 months of war, Trump said Gaza became a demolition site and he would like Egypt to take people and I'd like Jordan to take people. Moving Gaza's inhabitants. Okay, another thing that I need to bring up in regards to the issue of where are Palestinians going to go with Gaza being so destroyed is that these are the most powerful, wealthiest people on the planet. I have seen construction in my neighborhood of houses that have burnt down be completely rebuilt from the ground up in less than a fucking week, and that is not an exaggeration. That happened. There is absolutely no reason that viable shelter could not be constructed while cleanup happened in Gaza. When you have people like Netanyahu and Donald Trump at play, some of the most wealthy, the most powerful people on the planet, not to mention international support from people and government powers alike. So there is no reason to do that. It is all just It is all just displacement, intentional displacements for the intent to erase a people and to take their land. That is why they want to move people out of Palestine. It'd be not just because Gaza is destroyed, but because they want to take Gaza as their own. This is why it might be a long term, because it will be a long term, because if it's a long term, it could become forever term, because people will inevitably stop talking about it. This is like a really unhinged headline. Trump officials join federal agents in Dr. Phil for immigration arrests in Chicago. Dr. Phil is so problematic, dude. The TV personality Dr. Phil joined the U.S. border Cesar Tom Homan in a why is that yellow? Look, it's yellow. It's like gold when I go over it. The TV personality Dr. Phil joined the U.S. border Cesar in a choreographed immigration raid in Chicago. Dr. Phil joined the U.S. border Cesar Tom Homan in a choreographed immigration raid in Chicago. That is the methiest thing I have ever read in my life, dude. What the fuck? What do you mean? Why? What is happening? The world is genuinely ending. I fear for us. I think it's the whole universe, actually. At least our galaxy is being completely destroyed by this amount of unhinged. Someone had injected methamphetamine into the veins of the Milky Way. We are so goddamn doomed. Wait, my face is so swollen.
You've been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged with?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not talking about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom says it.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
He's like, you're Dr. Phil,
No,
what's this fucking drugs,
Dr.
dude?
Phil.
What they're doing, by the way, is what this is a blatant show of what they're doing. But what they're doing is they are taking the people who did do like sex crimes, at least like, I mean, I don't know enough about this guy, so we'll say alleged. And then they're televising it. I mean, they literally have Dr. Phil there. And they're televising that so that they can convince the general public, who has a very short attention span, that all immigrants are rapists and murderers, which is the dialect they've been going on for a minute now. Obviously, that's not true. We know better than that. Like, I hope that the average person understands that that's bullshit. But that is what this is. It is a very odd type of it's very American. It's a very American way to do propaganda, to have fucking Dr. Phil do a fucking televised choreographed raid in a sanctuary city, mind you. That's why that they're doing having that guy in the sanctuary city, so that they could justify going into sanctuary cities to do all their essentially hate crimes everywhere, where you're not supposed to be able to go into sanctuary cities. That's why they're sanctuary cities. They're meant to be safe places for immigrants for a load of different reasons. Let's see if we can find it real fast, just for education. Sanctuary cities are jurisdictions that protect immigrants from deportation and allow them to interact with law enforcement without fear of retribution. The goal of sanctuary cities is to make communities safer and more welcoming to immigrants. Sanctuary cities protect immigrants from deportation, allow them to report crimes to law enforcement. Not anymore, obviously. We don't do that now. No, we just do hate crimes. Reduce crime. Sanctuary cities can reduce crime rates because immigrants are more likely to report crimes. Strengthen relationships. Sanctuary cities can strengthen relationships between immigrants and law enforcement. Allocate resources. Sanctuary cities allow local governments to decide how to allocate resources. Protect law enforcement. Sanctuary cities can protect law enforcement from liabilities that may arise from federal immigration law. Okay, I'm falling asleep. I am going to what is this? Well, here you are somewhere out in Florida. Alert issued over missing 6-year-old girl in Lakeland, Florida. Officials said they are searching for a 6-year-old girl who was reported missing overnight in Lakeland. They said the girl, Empress Moore, was last seen 800 block North New York Avenue in Lakeland, Florida. Officials said the girl is around 4 feet, 3 inches tall, 55 pounds. She has black hair, brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a puffy blue jacket, blue leggings, pink sparkly boots. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call Lakeland Police Department at 863-834-6900 or 911. 911. Click here to download our free news. Okay, so keep an eye out if you are by any chance out in the Lakeland, Florida, or Florida area, or just in general, for this girl right here. And now I am falling asleep. I am so fucking tired. I am so tired. You guys don't understand how tired I am. I have so many healing tattoos. I've been working on my hairline, like my face, obviously, of course. Fucking everywhere, my chest, my fucking side. I hurt, dude. I'm sleepy. I haven't gotten enough rest at all because like every day I try and take a rest day. I don't rest. I don't do it. Instead, I just fucking do a bunch of stuff that makes me really tired, and I do it at nighttime, and then I go to bed too goddamn late. I'm sleepy and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go take care of both of those issues, I think. Bye. Bye-bye.